Hello and welcome to One Called Mama. I am your host, Sam, and I am very glad that you have decided to join me today. We are continuing our journey through the book It Matters by Kimberly DeShields Spencer. We are on chapter 3, and the title of said chapter is The Pause That Transforms. This is an excellent chapter. You can probably hear me flipping through the pages right now. It's so full. And actually it was a decently long chapter, 20 something pages. I guess that's not too bad, but for you non-readers out there, kind of like myself, I kind of fall somewhere in between. It's a pretty decent chapter, especially when it's filled with so much meat. There is no potatoes in this book. It's all meat. And it takes a lot to get through because when you read it, you really have to spend time reflecting. And I find myself more often than not just sitting there and I'm reading something and then I just stop to think about it for a while. And I don't usually do that with books. I typically try to get through them as quickly as possible, but that's not effective, right? And with a lot of books, some books are fluffy, especially like self-help or motivational or educational books. They can be kind of fluffy. They repeat themselves a lot. There's a lot of saying the same things over and over again, but that is not the case with this book. And so what I really want to start off talking about, and this chapter is like the title suggests, is about pausing and reflecting. When I think about pausing, the idea of taking a deep breath comes to mind. And it's so much more than that. And that's really not even what she's talking about in this chapter. But for me today, in the space that I'm in right now, the headspace that I'm in, taking a deep breath. Because there is so much happening behind the scenes right now in my world. And it feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. How many of us are going through our day-to-day motions, maybe even on autopilot, because a lot of times I think we do function out of autopilot. We get up out of bed, we brush our teeth, we fix our hair, we put on our makeup, or we don't. We feed the kids, we feed ourselves, we have our coffee, we maybe read our Bible, we maybe pray. Maybe it's not in the morning for all of us. Maybe it's in the afternoons or throughout the day, which is the category that I live in. It's just kind of throughout the day, sporadically when I can get it in. And we're just kind of just on autopilot. How often do we find ourselves taking a deep breath and feeling like that was the first time we breathed all day? Do you ever do that? Do you ever feel like you're holding your breath and you maybe even didn't realize you were holding your breath? And then you're like, wow, that feels like the first breath I've taken today. I know I've done that. I know I've been there where it feels like I suddenly just breathe and it's maybe 3:00 in the afternoon. And that's the first time that it feels like I took a breath. We go so fast. And a lot of times we have to go fast. And that's the unfortunate truth. Our lives demand results. They demand us to take action. That does not mean that we cannot take a breath. It does not mean that we can't stop and breathe. And I'm not even intentionally taking these deep breaths with y'all. They're just kind of happening, to be honest. Today was one of those days for me. The last 24 hours have been very emotional. I'm in a space where I feel like I'm grieving. I'm grieving things in my life. I'm grieving changes that are maybe even good changes. And I'm still grieving what it means, what they represent, what they may or may not do. You know, some of these things that I don't even know for sure. I feel like I'm being led in a certain direction. I feel like me and my husband, our family, things are happening and it's exciting. And it's an unknown. I'm still grieving my father. You know, all of that happened very quickly. And that wasn't the only thing that happened in a very short period of time. I'm grieving some things that the Lord showed me that were very difficult, things that I have to give up. And I wasn't prepared for it. The beautiful thing is that when the Lord asks us to give something up, he doesn't leave us empty. If he takes something away, he gives something in return. So if you find yourself in that space today, I hope you remember that, because when we're in seasons of pruning, seasons where it feels like we're putting in the work, we're losing things. Things are being taken from us. And it's very painful. It's very difficult. We don't see a lot of fruit from our labor. It is there, but the rewards are fewer and far between. The fruit of what we're doing is not as plentiful as maybe we would like it to be. But the Lord is faithful in that he confirms and validates and encourages as we move along. That's what I've observed. That's what I've lived, is that when I find that I'm putting in the work and I'm in a moment of discouragement or feeling like I'm not seeing any result from this, it is immediate that he sends someone to speak life to me, to encourage me, or to say, wow, this helped me today. Or he himself will send scripture. He'll speak to me. So as we move forward in this season that we're in, maybe you're listening to this and you also find yourself feeling like you're going nowhere. This is going nowhere. Why am I doing this? Why is this so hard? If this is really what the Lord wanted me to do, would it be this hard? Pray about that. Ask him to confirm what you're doing. Because what I've learned is, yes, the work is hard. The laborers are few, but the harvest is plenty. And just like anything else, there is a season. There's a season of sowing and there's a season of reaping. And if you find yourself in a season where you are sowing, it can be a very difficult season, because you're not only sowing into the ministry, into the business, into the music, the art, the book, you're sowing into the people. And we don't really see the harvest. It's not time for that yet. We're doing the sowing, the building, and that's a lot of work. But then harvest comes, and then we start to see the fruit of that labor. We start to reap the benefits of that. And I think a lot of us give up before we see that harvest. And so this is my encouragement for you today. If you find yourself in that season and you want to give up, you want to stop because you're like, this isn't doing any good, this isn't working, whatever I thought I was building, it's not happening. That does not mean that you're failing. That does not mean that you are doing the wrong things. That does not mean that you are on the wrong track. You might just be in a season. And yes, there are always things we can do to better ourselves, systems that we might need. Maybe there's something that we've been doing that isn't serving us well that maybe we should get rid of. And it's always good to evaluate that. That doesn't mean you stop. But only you can know this. And that requires prayer. That requires time with the Lord and trusting him, trusting what he tells you. And so on that little bit of a tangent that I just went on, it's kind of bringing us back full circle, pausing, taking that deep breath, evaluating where you are where you are in your business, what you're building, what you're doing, your ministry, whatever that looks like for you, and where you are spiritually as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, whoever you are, what is working for me right now? Where am I on autopilot? Where can I be intentional with my time and my energy? What do I need to get rid of that isn't serving me right now? We all have things. We all have them. I need systems. I need systems for the work. I don't have them right now. I maybe have a few. I have a few, but I don't have them fully in place like I should for the growth that I want and for the work that I'm doing. I need better systems in place. And that simply could be time blocking for a calendar. And I was just talking about this with a friend of mine. And she was encouraging me that just time block my calendar, just pick some days where I want to get certain things done and just do it. And if it changes, you just swap it out and do what you need to do. If that day changed, maybe you weren't able to get to it, it's okay. Replace it, put it on another day in the calendar, but time block, try it, and then commit to it. And I think a lot of times we feel like if we create something that if we like put it in our calendar and it has to happen, then it's like, oh, but I didn't get to it. It feels like failure. No, the failure comes when you quit. It's not when you miss the mark. Um, any new practice that you're trying to learn takes time. It just takes time. So we allow ourselves grace as we learn and grow and develop. The other thing about pausing that is really helpful, and again, for me, specifically, what has happened for me today is I was able to really sort out these emotions, these feelings that I'm having. I did that through speaking with a friend. I voice message a friend back and forth. We talk pretty much every day because she's not local to me. And that's how we talk. And so I talk to her every day, every other day. We voice message each other back and forth. And I just went into it. I just started talking. First, I just started talking about the feelings, right? Because that's all I had. I didn't know why the feelings were there, but they were there and I was just didn't understand them. And so as I started talking about them, and then I started talking about everything that's going on and everything that I feel the Lord is showing us and everything that I feel is shifting and everything that has shifted and things that have been taken away and things that we have lost. And then I understood. I got it. Then I got clarity because I took the moment to talk about these complex emotions that I'm feeling that I really didn't understand. And then when I started really unpacking them, then I really had a clear picture of why I was feeling what I was feeling. You know, emotions are a tricky thing. I don't like saying that emotions lie, feelings lie, because they were given to us by God. He gave us emotions and feelings. They're important, they're relevant, they matter, they help us, they guide us, they are important. So I don't like saying they lie, but they don't give us the full picture. So when all you have is the emotion, maybe you're struggling with anxiety and you're like, I don't know why I feel anxious. Well, if you have someone that you can kind of just talk to, just start talking about the anxiety and start talking about when it happened and what was happening around you when it happened. And then as you're working through that, you're talking through it, you start to understand maybe where it came from. And when you do this, it gets it out of your head where it's trapped and where the enemy likes it to stay, because then he can shoot thoughts at you and you can start to believe those thoughts are reality and when they're not. So then they're not trapped in your head anymore. Now they're out in the open and now they're aired out. And now you can see a clearer picture of maybe what's really going on. And once you understand where the emotion or the feeling is coming from, then it makes sense. And then you stop feeling crazy. You stop feeling like maybe if you maybe you're feeling some guilt around that emotion because it feels unwarranted or it's, kind of hitting you out of nowhere. I know for me, I can kind of think, well, I'm just making this complicated. I'm just complicating things. I just need to let this go. How many times does it help? Or has it ever helped to tell someone to calm down or just get over it? Does that help you to tell yourself that? I mean, has it ever helped to tell someone else that? No, it usually makes people angry. It makes it worse. So telling yourself that doesn't solve any problems. So allowing yourself the space to take a pause to understand whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment. Kimberly says something really important in this chapter, and I want to read it to you now. She has this title that says "Respect Your Seasons." We were just talking about seasons, so it's kind of perfect. Respect where you are right now instead of constantly pushing for the next thing. But what I've learned with the Lord is that even if He gives us a vision for something, it doesn't mean it happens right now. It might mean it could happen, immediately. But what I've experienced is that He will give us a vision for something and it doesn't happen maybe even in that year. It's something that He has given us a vision for, something He wants us to build towards and work towards, but we're not ready for it yet. We're not in a space where we can take that on right now. It's this balance, this counterbalance of honoring the space we're in, acknowledging what we've created with the Lord, how we've created it, and then also seeing the bigger picture and living in that space and giving them both the respect that they deserve. So the more that we can be content in the space that we're in, while also saying, yes, Lord, to the next thing that He has for us, holding those two spaces, giving them the respect that they deserve, although tricky, is very doable. And that just, again, requires us to remember the goal, remember our purpose and our place, and remembering why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why that's so important, because it is so easy to get caught up in the next thing and doing the next thing. And when maybe the Lord wants us to just kind of stay here for a little while. Yes, that's on the horizon. Yes, one day. But let's stay here. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's keep doing and building what we're building here now. And then when the time is right, we can move forward. So the last thing I want to end on with this is at the very end of this chapter, she asks 3 questions. And like I said, that was a very meaty chapter. There was a lot in this chapter that we cannot go over. But I do want to pose these 3 questions for you. This is the first question. What wins can I acknowledge and build upon? What wins have happened that you can acknowledge and build upon? And acknowledging is so important. And that goes back to what we were just talking about, that we're so eager to go on to the next thing that we don't stop and acknowledge what we have built with the Father, what we have done, the people we have served, how heaven rejoices when others are helped and encouraged and hope is built and connections are made. Like, these are important things that we need to celebrate. We need to acknowledge. Second question. Where am I off track and what can I learn from that? And that's the key. Instead of berating ourselves for being off track on something, how can we learn from it? How can we give ourselves grace in that? How can we learn? What can we do better? What can we do differently? How can we show up differently? Just like I was saying with the time blocking thing, instead of wasting my energy on feeling bad about that, I just need to say, okay, let's just take some action and let's just do it. Let's get rid of the victim mentality. Let's get rid of the self-pity and let's just take action. What can I do? I can just pick a day, pick a thing that I need to do and do it that day. Do it for the whole week. And then we will figure out what worked and what didn't from that. But at least at that point, I'm learning because I'm giving myself the opportunity to learn. I'm not just wasting time and energy on feeling bad about what I'm not doing. That is so pointless. Let's just take action and then we can learn from that as we go. And this is the last question. What next steps will bring me closer to where I want to be? All of these questions require us to pause and really think. Think about how we are showing up. Think about our thoughts. Are they serving us? These things that we've been doing, is it really what we should be doing anymore? Is that serving us still? It served us before. Is it now? How can I change that and improve that? Where do I need to step back from? What services or products was I offering that maybe I need to maybe rebrand them, remarket them? Maybe they don't need to be part of what I offer anymore. Maybe I need to switch to something else. Thank you so much for being here and listening. I want y'all to know that I value you so very much. What you are building, what you are creating is important. It matters. And if I can be there to encourage you and help you in that, then that is an honor for me. And I love that I get to do this, that I get to show up and do what I get to do. So thank you for listening and for even when I'm rambly and crazy, thank you for choosing to listen. If you have any prayer requests, I would be honored to join in prayer with you. Suggestions for future episodes or other books you would like me to read, that would be fun. I don't mind doing this again. You can email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to check me out. The links to all my social media accounts are in the description. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I also have my own website, onecalledmama.org, so you can see me there as well. And also, if you'd want to do me a favor, leave me a review on my Google site. That would be amazing. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.